Hello ladies and gents, PepperBelly here, and today I'm bringing you guys some more Battlefield 4 gameplay while I discuss various random things. I know it's been about a week since I made an actual video and uploaded it, and that's because I've been kind of busy in the real world doing things, and mostly I've been building computers for friends. It's been really fun, surprisingly. I mean, I think it's like my new favorite thing in the world right now is literally just to build computers, because I don't know, I guess it's one thing I love to do a lot that I never really noticed before. I mean, I built my own PC and I was like, yeah, I love building my own computer, and you just kind of like game out on it for a really long time, and you're like, you casually upgrade it over time. But I mean, like, actually having people give you like a budget, like, oh, here, this is how much I'm gonna, this is the budget, build me a computer for this price, and you go online, you shop for everything, and you get it, and then you start building it together, and you put it, and you make it really fucking cool, and it's better than mine, so, you know, kind of jealous, but like, I don't know, it's pretty sweet, and I actually really enjoy doing it, and that's pretty much why I've been kind of preoccupied from actually doing some Battlefield 4 stuff. This also leads me to another thing I discovered about my own PC recently, and that's pretty much how I overclocked it, because I did a little bit differently this time, and basically the temperatures are a lot more stable than they ever were before, and I kind of had a theory about this in my head, and I pretty much discovered why. And if you guys know, if you install a motherboard, you don't tweak anything, so you don't adjust any of the stuff whatsoever, you just leave everything stock, you'll know that usually the voltages on your CPU and stuff will just automatically throttle itself as the CPU needs it. So if you're having your computer running and you're like, say you have like an auto, like some kind of AI overclocking tool, like I know I have an ASRock motherboard, I have the ASRock P67 Extreme 4 Gen 3, and that comes with, and I have it with the Intel Core i5 2500K. And if you actually use the program that comes with that motherboard, which allows you to overclock it, and you have it set in the BIOS where like it'll automatically change voltages, it's really easy to overclock it because you literally just have to switch. You just grab a slider and you can move it from like default, which is 3.3 gigahertz, like all the way to 4.5, and it'll work. Like there's no problem. It'll be stable. The only problem is that when you do that, the heat tends to climb, and I have like the Cooler Master Hyper 612 PWM. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, and it's like this massive cooling radiator essentially that Cooler Master makes. You guys are familiar with the Hyper 212 Evo? It's basically a bigger version of that. And I was kind of shocked because every time I would overclock my PC, and whenever I was actually like, you know, doing stress tests with like Intel burn tests and stuff, it would literally peak out at like 80 degrees Celsius. Like it would climb up to that and it would be like 81 degrees. And although my CPU is rated to be able to perform at 98 before it's just to throttle and want to turn itself off and, you know, cry in a corner somewhere, it's still high. Like 80 is still really fucking hot for a CPU. You want to try to like make that as low as possible. The general rule of thumb is try to keep it 90 or 20% below the maximum threshold that your CPU can tolerate, which is generally like, you know, mine's 98 degrees Celsius. So you want to keep it 20% lower than that, so basically around 70. So I kind of had this idea in my head. I was like, this theory. I was like, it makes perfect sense logically, you know, like how this would actually work. And basically I was thinking that whenever you have, if you picture a graph, you know, like some like a line graph or something, if you have it automatically set to automatically change the voltages, so your motherboard will do everything for you instead of setting it to a fixed voltage, which is what people that really overclock their PCs tend to do, then the voltages will jump like sporadically depending on like how much juice it needs at any given time. So if you overclock it, generally it'll give it more juice than it actually requires, and it'll just keep, you know, it'll fluctuate sporadically. If you look at the graph, it'd be like climbing and declining, like, you know, like if you're looking at the stock market, people will be shitting their pants because it's fucking all over the place. And because of that, it generates a lot more heat in doing so. Whereas if you set it to a fixed voltage, it stays at a nice consistent constant. If you were looking at a line graph, it would stay at a very consistent, basically the same temperature for a longer prolonged period of time. I tried it and it worked. It made perfect sense. Now my temperature dropped by literally 20 degrees. When I'm playing Battlefield 4, when I would be at 4.0 gigahertz on my CPU, I would get anywhere from 65 to almost 70 degrees Celsius, where now I'm getting a maximum of 55 degrees just by like when I'm playing Battlefield 4. When I do Intel burn test, which is like the most insane stress testing program, it fucking burns the shit out of your, hence the burn test thing. It really tries to work it and get the temperature up. It maxed out at 70. I believe 75, I think, or 70 or 65. I don't remember. It was around there. Basically, it was a very huge difference considering Intel burn test would skyrocket to 80 and like get into the red or the yellow zone, the yellow area where it's like starting to get a little bit too hot and you start worrying about the temperature. Whereas where I am now, it's a lot better. The temperature drops significantly and it's staying at a nice stable 4.0 gig overclock. I tried to put it to 4.5 and increase the voltage manually too, but I kept getting blue screens. And I tried to put it to 4.2 and increase the voltage, and I still got blue screens. So 4.0 is the stable one to go with, apparently. Even though I increased the voltages pretty high, because I mean, I put it to 1.200 volts, and by doing that, I'm able to keep a 4.0 gigahertz overclock, and it's very stable. So I'm like, okay, maybe if I add another 100, you know, so I'm like 1.300 volts, increase it by 4.2, and no, blue screen. So I was like, what the fuck? Either I need like a lot more voltages, which I'm kind of debating trying putting it like 1.5 volts or something, and just trying that out and then increasing it, see if it really works, because, man, it's just, like, the performance of the PC increased slightly just by doing that, like, from the standard overclock I had, just by having it at a stable, lower temperature while keeping that consistent overclock, it's like, it's just so much better. But yeah, that's pretty much what's been going on recently, and I'll be making some more videos in the future, just for your information. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to rate it, comment it, and subscribe if you want to see more in the future. Take care, guys.